To have a successful online business, you need to make sure that you have an email marketing automation system to do all your email follow-ups, and also have an interface where you can have a look at all your customers on a dashboard. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Convertkit and Fluent CRM. Convertkit has been out there for quite a long time now. Fluent CRM is a new kid on the block. So we want to compare the two and see which one is better value for you when deciding to set up an email automation system on your website. Coming up. Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm really excited because I'm going to go head to head Fluent CRM versus Convertkit. Now, I've decided to choose these two because I've been using Convertkit pretty much for a very long time now, and I've just recently moved on to use Fluent CRM. So I want to take a look at the features to help you perhaps decide which system will be best for you. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's take a look. All right, so I'm over here now. And the first thing we're going to look at is the main dashboard. Okay, so what do you see when you first log in or you first go onto the main interface of your email marketing automation system? So here, this is Convertkit. So you have these different tabs here. So this very first one here is your new subscribers. So right now, as you can see here, I don't really have any subscribers now because I decided to move my mailing list to Fluent CRM. So that's where all the action is. But anyway, over here now, we have our total subscribers. So you can see I'm approaching 3,000 subscribers. So this is how my list has been performing. It was way much higher than this. But what I had to do to save me a lot of money was to delete any subscribers that did not engage with my email list. So that's why it is way low. I mean, I was up to about 8,000 subscribers, but because a lot of them were not really engaging, I decided to get rid of them. Now, moving on, we also have another tab here, which shows your purchases. To be honest, I never really got to using this because everything that I used on my site was pretty much on my WordPress website, but you have that option. Now here we have engagement. Now this one here is really exciting, and I think this is a very good way of really taking a look at what is happening on your subscribers. So this is really cool. Now if you click here on this little drop down, you also see a timeline. So again, this gives you a detailed view of the engagement of your subscribers. Now this is a new addition to Convertkit, which is Deliverability. When I click here, you can see the broadcast and how it's performing here. So you can see your open rates, your click-through rates, and so on. And you can also take a look at how your sequences are working as well. But as you can see, I pretty much stopped running all my sequences around about here. Okay, so pretty much that's the main dashboard. Over here on the bottom, we have our total subscribers. We have an average open rate. We also have an average click rate and the email sent. Okay, so let's take a look at the dashboard of Fluent CRM and see what it looks like. So over here now bear in mind, I am using the paid version of Fluent CRM because it has all the integrations that I need. Okay, so here we have something kind of similar. We have the main dashboard here, which pretty much shows us our lists, our contacts, our campaigns, email sent. Now this is on my local machine, so I don't have any data here to show you. We also have sales this month. So this also shows you how much you've made in the month, because this comes automatically integrated with WooCommerce. So that's one of the big pluses that I like with Fluent CRM. Everything is pretty much integrated when you install the plugins. Okay, so on the bottom here is where you get to see your subscriber growth, similar to what we have here with Convertkit. So this is pretty much your subscriber growth, but it also shows you the cumulative, which is really good as well. And on this drop down here, we can see your email sending stats. And again, I think this is really cool because this is going to show you your open rate, click-through rate, and so on. And over here, we also have email click stats. So when it comes to the main dashboard, to be honest, I think pretty much, they're almost the same. Okay, almost the same. All right, so the next part we're going to talk about is basically the ease of use. Now, this here is going to be very subjective depending on how much you've been using ConvertKit or how much you've been using Fluent CRM, but I'll give you my experience. So let's take a look and see how easy it is on each platform to use. Okay, so over here now, so let's say I wanted to add subscribers to my system here. All I have to do is to come over here to contacts and then click import if I need to import subscribers on a CSV file. So I like the idea that when you're talking about contacts, you just come over here to the contacts and you have two options, either to import or to add manually. So if you wanted to add manually, there we go. So you can add your prefix here, the first name. So let's say we add a name here, email address. There we go. So you can add a phone number, date of birth if you wanted to. And over here now, you can also choose your lists. So if you have lists on Fluent CRM, you can just choose them here. So here I'm going to go with, let's say, freebie. You can also assign the tags as you're adding the user to your system. So here I'm going to say subscriber, and the status here we can say either subscribed, pending, unsubscribed, bounced, complained, and so on. So I'm going to leave it as subscribed and then pretty much just add it. And now that is added onto my system. So adding subscribers, I think this is fairly easy on Fluent CRM. Now let's take a look and see how we can do it here on ConvertKit. So to add subscribers here, you need to scroll down and you see this button here which says add subscribers. So you click here and now you have different options. Add single subscriber, you would click here, and import CSV, you would click here and import from another provider. So this is the option that is pretty much missing from Fluent CRM, but I wouldn't say really it's very, very important, because at the end of the day, most of these services just export a CSV file. So it is not really necessary, to be honest. But over here, CSV, that's straightforward, and adding a single subscriber. Now, this also does the similar thing. You add your first name here, email address, and then you can also include the sequences, tags, and so on. So here you could go and choose the tag. You could also choose a sequence, and you could also choose the form. So adding subscribers is pretty much straightforward on both sides. So again, that is a tie. Now, the next part I want to talk about, which is very important, is let's say you want to take a look and see the information that you have on a specific subscriber. So let's say maybe there's a query, someone bought something, and you really want to go in and see if what is happening with their account. Because I've had this a few times where someone says to me, oh, I can't get access to my course, or I paid for this, but I don't have access to it. So you need to have a simple way of pretty much taking a look at that subscriber and finding out what is the problem. So let's take a look and see what that looks like on ConvertKit. So over here, I am going to search for my subscriber. So Malone00 is me. All right, so we have Malone00 here. So that is me. So this is the data that is accompanied with this profile. So first of all, we have the email address here, and we also have the tags, which is pretty cool. Over here, we have the emails, and this is the history. We have automations. So let's say I was subscribed to any automations, or anything within the automation setup has been triggered on my account. This would show over here. And here it also shows my sequences, forms, and purchases. But do you realize that pretty much this is giving me a snapshot of the subscriber? Now let's take a look here at Fluent CRM. Now I'm going to go again into my account here, which is Malone00. And here, in my opinion, we have even more data, because first of all, you have your basic information here. And now we have all these other tags. So if I go to emails, this will show me how many emails I've interacted with, the open rate, what I've clicked, what I haven't clicked, and so on. Purchase history, again, this is tied in with WooCommerce, as I mentioned earlier on, so you can really see what I've bought. So if there's any query with what my subscriber or what my customer has bought, I can see all that here. Form submissions, so if I have submitted anything on any forms, this will show up here. Now, this is my favorite feature, and this is the notes and activities. So here I can just add a new note and say, right, I've given this customer access to maybe a bonus. So I could just go in and say access to a bonus, and then I can come over here, add a, more description. Okay. So once I've done that, I can save the note. So next time I come to this user and there's a query, I can always go into my notes here, and there we go. It says here access to bonus, and it pretty much shows me what it is. I can also go in and update this like that. Click update, or if I need to delete it, I can just delete it over here. So I really like this on Fluent CRM, and to be honest, I think this has a much better way of taking a look at all your customers or subscribers on your website. Now, I'm not done yet, because over here you can also add your subscriber here to a specific list by just clicking here on this plus button. So let's say you want to add them to customers. Boom, just like that, I've added them to a list, to the customers, and the same applies with the tags. I can always come over here and add a new tag. So let's say this is a new customer, and boom, now I have the tag. If I want to get rid of it, all I have to do is to click here and it's gone, and same applies here on the list. Over here as well, it pretty much tells me how many emails I've opened and how many I've clicked, just in a little snapshot here. So this is what the customer dashboard pretty much looks like. And like I said, in my opinion, the customer dashboard on Fluent CRM is much better. It has more detail and it is much, much better. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk about the email builder itself. When you're trying to create an email, how easy is it, and how is the builder? So let's take a look at the two. So I'm going to start over here with Convertkit. So to create a brand new broadcast or to create a new email to send to your list, you want to come over here to broadcasts. All right. So next you want to click on new broadcast. Okay. And then here you can decide where you want to send the email. So you can say all subscribers, or you can add a filter. So you can send your emails to maybe someone who's subscribed to a specific form. And then the form could be maybe, you know, a free WordPress course and so on. So there's a lot of ways you can pretty much filter where you want to send your email. And this is pretty cool. Right. So I'm going to go to my next step, because I'm going to send this email to all subscribers. So over here, you have your new broadcast, and this is like your title for your email. So pretty much straightforward. You can just add your title here. Now, this also has an A/B testing. So I can have new broadcast. Okay. Now let's take a look at the builder itself. And the builder itself is, to be honest, quite cool, because if I click here on this plus button, it's asking me what I need to add. So let's say personalization, and I can say first name. And here we can say hello. And then the first name will be substituted by the subscriber name. Now let's go in and see what else we can do here. So if you click on this plus button, we can then add an HTML block. We can add a snippet. We can add a heading, and so on. But if you wanted to start typing right away, you can just start typing like this. Okay. And let's say you want to add an image. You notice that every time I need to add something new, I click on this plus button and then click on image. So now this gives me the ability to choose my images. So there we go. There's my image. It's got beautiful rounded corners here as well. And when you click on the image, you can do further customizations here. You can add a URL, or you can align to the left. You can do a bit of editing and so on. So it's pretty straightforward. And let's say you want to add a button. Let's add a button here. So you can click on this plus button, click on this button, and you can say my button. And you can also add a URL and apply a tag to anyone that clicks this button here. So if you click on this drop down, you can say, okay, this person is interested in Divi, for example. You tag them that way, and that will be added onto the customer profile or to the subscriber's profile. And then when you hit next, this now takes you to this preview where you can just have a quick look at what this looks like. And then once you're ready, you can send your broadcast. So it is pretty much straightforward to create your emails, and also the builder itself is very, very easy to use. Now, is that the case over here in Fluent CRM? Okay, let's take a look. So here it's a bit different. If you want to send an email, you want to click here on email campaigns, and click here where it says create new campaign. So notice that they're using different names. In Convertkit, they use broadcasts. And then over here, they use campaigns. So I'll say my new email. All right, click on continue. So over here, things are slightly different. You may notice that if you've used WordPress Gutenberg, you are going to love this because this is what pretty much this is based on. So let's say you want to add a name. I could just say hello, add an @, and this is going to give you your prefix. So I'm going to say first name, just like what we did in Convertkit. And then if I need to start adding my content, I can just say my email message. Okay, so I can start typing, and pretty much that's straightforward. Now in Convertkit, we were pressing this the plus button. Now over here, we also have this plus button, okay, to add a block. So if I click here, these are all the blocks that we can use. So you have an image, paragraph, heading, columns, buttons, and so on. But if you want to show a bit more, you add this /, and this now shows you even more things. Right, you can see you have this RSS, the spacer, the table, the verse, and so on. So in my opinion, you get more from this builder right here. It has more things that you can add, and I think this is really cool. Now take a look here when we start adding, say, for example, a button. So if I add my button here, I can just say my button, and I can do further customizations over here to the right. So let's say I want to play around with the border radius. I can just do that. If I need a rectangle, I can just do that. If I need a bit of slight rounded corners there, I can just add it like that. Now, what about the colors? I can also come over here and match my colors. So if I have specific colors for my brand, I can always come over here to my background color, change my button color just like that. And if I need to change my text color, I can come over here and change it. And if I need an outline, I can add an outline like that, but to be honest, I just prefer to have this fill. Okay, so as you can see, it's very easy to add my buttons like that, and I like the fact that you can add these buttons side by side, but we're not going to do that, okay? So let's go ahead and delete that. And then let's try and add an image here. So I'm going to click here on image. Now, the advantage of using my images here is I can actually use images in my media library, my WordPress media library, instead of just uploading it here from my computer if I do have it that way. So I'm going to go to my media library here, and let's say I'm going to add this image here. I'm going to hit select. And as you can see here, it's very easy to add my images. I can also resize it quickly in here. And over here on this side, I can also add some rounded corners if I need to, and I can really customize the rounded corners that I need to add on there. And I can also play around with the sizes. So you can see here I'm at 75% or 50%. And if I need to adjust it, I can just adjust it like that. So it's very easy to add all my images. And if I need to link my images, I can just click here and this is the link. If I need to replace the image, I can replace it that way. So pretty much it is very, very straightforward to do. Now, let's say I want a different style of email. I can use this template, and this one here is pretty much a plain centered email template. Over here we have the classic, and then here we have raw HTML. So let's say I'm happy with that. Now, one thing that I haven't mentioned here is you can also have email templates, but also Convertkit has the email templates. Right, so if I hit continue, this is now where we get our A/B testing. So to enable it, you want to click here on A/B testing, and there we go. So you can say email subject here, and this one here could be email subject 2, and the priority, I'll say 50-50 is fine. But I can also add more split testing if I need to. And this now would show which one is performing well against each other, which is really cool. And I can also add an email pre-header here. And if I click here on send test email, I can actually send a test email here. If I continue now to the next step, this is where, similar to Convertkit, I can also choose where I want this email to go. So here you can see we have all the lists, we have freebies, we have customers. So you can really choose where you want this email to go. You can also select by tag. So here you can also choose your tags and add even more actions. So let's say you want to combine tags, you can also do it here by adding them here. If you want to exclude any contacts, you can exclude any of your contacts here. Move on to the next level, and pretty much you're ready to send. So as you can see, both builders are pretty much really good, but I prefer the Fluent CRM. It has more blocks and there is higher customization there. So I really, really like the builder that we have on Fluent CRM. Okay, so let's move on to the next item, and this is the automations. Okay, so back over here now. Let's just go back to our main dashboard. So the next stage is the automations. So automations is really, really, really powerful if you can get this right. But to be honest, when I started using Convertkit, I found the automations on Convertkit a bit confusing to use because you have automations and then you also have rules. But anyway, I'll explain this in a moment, what this is. But for me, the learning curve was a bit too much when I started off with this. So let's take a look at how this works. So when it comes to automations, this is where you can say you want people to go through a certain flow of steps as they interact with your content. So to add a new automation, I can just come over here, add new automation. And this is where I can say browse templates or create new automation. Now here, I think this is really cool because when you browse the templates, you see here we have this evergreen newsletter, evergreen product pitch. We also have host a webinar. We also have product launch. So they have these templates. In fact, let's do a quick preview here and see what it looks like. So here, let's say your customers go on to this form. So when they come to the form, they come over here to a warm-up email. So when you click on it, this will be the email that is sent to them. And you can also specify which date it needs to go out and then also the course launch. And this is where now we have these yes and no options, which is like if else. So these are also really cool. And this is now the end of the automation. So they also have these templates, which they have pre-designed for you, which means you won't really have to have a headache of trying to create your own steps when you create your automations. And this is something they added on later on. But initially, when I started using Convertkit, they didn't have this feature. So I didn't really use it. So you know, that's what happened. But if you wanted to create your own brand new one, you can just come over here and say, okay, how does this automation start? So it could start by when a subscriber joins a form or when a tag is added or when they purchase something and so on. So you can say, okay, when a tag is added and then search for the tag here. And let's say they're interested in Divi, for example. And then this is where now you can start to add all your events. So to add all your events, you just click on this plus button and then you can say, okay, after they have had the tag interested in Divi, what I want to do now is to send them to an email sequence. You can just add your email sequence here, or you can add a tag, remove a tag, add a delay, and so on. But the condition here is really, really cool because this is where you can add, let's say, add a tag and let's say bought Divi, right? So this is where you can say, okay, if they've bought Divi, if the answer is yes, then you can take them to a totally different direction. And this is very, very important. It's really, really cool. If they haven't, you can send them to a different direction until you come to the end of your automation. But pretty much this is very, very powerful once you get the grasp of it. And to be honest, the interface is very, very clear, very, very easy to use. So this is a big plus on Convertkit. Now, let's head over here to Fluent CRM. I'm going to come back over here to the main dashboard. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come over here to automations. So this is where you get the list of all your automations. And to create a brand new one, you just click on create a new automation. Now, here's the thing. And this is now the power of Fluent CRM. So over here in Convertkit, you see that there's 4 options, and these are the 4 main ways that the automation is triggered. So either you have to join a form, or it is added to a tag or a custom field, or it's a purchase. Now over here now on Fluent CRM, when you start an automation, it has a lot more starting points. So it can be triggered by a WordPress trigger. It can be a CRM. So CRM is, let's say, if you are applied to a list, if you are removed from a list, if a tag is applied, tag is removed. Now, this is similar to, of course, Convertkit, but as you can see, this is way more. Over here on WooCommerce, we can say we want this automation to be triggered when there's a new order, right, on WooCommerce. So imagine this. Let's say someone buys a product on WooCommerce and you assign that product to this automation. That automation is triggered based on that particular product that that customer buys. Over here, we also have forms. So let's say someone fills in a form. This is how the automation would be triggered. So as you add more and more services on your website like Wishlist, LearnDash, Lifter LMS, and so on, they are all going to be shown here, and that could be your starting point for your triggers. So this is way more powerful and it has way more options than what we have on Convertkit. So over here now on WooCommerce, let's say I want to start my trigger here. If I hit continue, in fact, I need to give it a title. So let's say this is a buyer, continue. Now notice what happens. The subscription status, we're going to say subscribed. And then here are the conditions. I can choose my product. So let's say this is product A, but of course, bear in mind, you also have to have your products there. Otherwise these won't show up here. So once you've done that, you hit save settings. Now let's take a look and see what we can do with our automations. So if I click here on this plus button, so over here, we can see that we have several options. We can apply a tag. We can set email sequences. So let's say I want to send an email sequence, and this is an onboarding sequence. I can hit save settings here, click on the plus button. I can also say, okay, apply a tag. And then I can say in this tag, this person bought product A, save, and I can just continue on and build my automation. The difference here is we don't have the conditions. Okay, so I can't do if someone has bought, let's say product A, then they can take a different direction. But if they bought product A, they can then take a different direction. This feature is not here yet, but don't be disheartened because I spoke to the CEO of Fluent CRM. This is coming very soon. So we are going to have those conditions, and this is going to be a game changer once this feature is added to Fluent CRM. But at the moment, we don't have that option to have those conditions. So right now, as we speak, Convertkit has a massive thumbs up, but Fluent CRM will be coming very, very soon. Now, there's something else that Convertkit doesn't have, and that is benchmarks. So if I come over here to benchmarks, this here is a trigger or a goal that is activated when any of these happen. Okay, so you could have a customer on your website, and at any point, if they decide to buy a product on your website, for example, let's say that's the benchmark you've set, that automation will start running from that benchmark. Now, this is powerful. Think about it. You may have a customer, or you may have a subscriber on your website. They haven't really bought anything for maybe a year, and then they decide to buy something. So whatever time they are in, and maybe they may not have gone through your normal automation, but the moment they come and buy a product here, and let's say product A, right? And we can say any type of purchase, save settings, right? So we are saying now in this sequence here, if at any point the customer buys or this person buys this product, a new sequence, starts running, but it will not run until that action has been triggered. So all this here will be running, no problem. And it will continue to add all the other automations. But as soon as this benchmark is reached, then a new automation is triggered. So this is one of the more powerful features that Fluent CRM has that Convertkit doesn't have. So finally, if you want to publish it, you can just click this button here to publish it. And of course, you can see all your reports step by step and see how each step is performing. But right now, I don't have the data to show you here. Now, let's move on to the next item. Now, this is where Convertkit has way more features when it comes to automation. So I'm just going to come back to the automations tab, and pretty much I'm going to spend a lot of time here on these automations. So here we have sequences. Now Convertkit is really powerful here when it comes to sequences, because when you come over here, for example, you can just create all your emails, and the UI is also quite good because when I click here, this is the email. And then if I click on the next email here, I can adjust when it should be triggered, after a day, after 2 days, and so on. So this is really, really good. And you can just have all your sequences that way. But to be honest, when you look at it this way, it seems like a lot is happening. And of course, you do have your stats here, so you can see how everything is performing. But in my opinion, the sequences that we have here in our email campaigns, and notice that Fluent CRM does it a bit different here. The email sequences are under email campaigns. I'm not sure if that's going to be confusing, but this is where we have our email sequences. But the email sequences here, in my opinion, are much better because here you can see we have our stats here. We can see how subscribers are performing on this email sequence. And if we need to go into it and make changes to it, you can just click here and these are the emails. And again, they come with all the stats. So in terms of the UI, I think this one here is better because it's simple and it has everything that I need here. If I need to edit the specific email, I can just go in and start making the changes. If there's a delay, I can always change the delay to days, weeks, months, whatever it is. And that is pretty much my email sequence. Now, I know there's a few things like, for example, the UI here can be, tweaked a little bit to make it look nicer. You can see here things are breaking apart. But hey, you know what? I'm just being too picky now. But this really works really well. And I prefer this, to be honest. Now, let's go back over here to Convertkit. So here we've spoken about the email sequences. So let's go back to automations. So here on automations, we also have this one tag here, which is the rules. So the rules I found also very, very powerful because we can say if a tag is added, then what action should be taken? So let's say here in this case, if someone signs up for my VIP membership, and they're tagged with Mac monthly. So I could say straight away, I want to remove the tag Divi student and also remove the tag Mac monthly canceled and also remove the tag Mac lifetime. So that's the action that will be taken once this tag has been added. And this could be anytime during the system. Okay. So once that tag is added, these actions will be applied. And I think this is really, really powerful. And this rules engine is not there with Fluent CRM. So I'm not sure if that's something they are going to be adding, but yes, this is something big on Convertkit and I think it's really, really cool. Now we also have RSS here and we also have integrations. So here, the integrations are quite good. We have Facebook, Gravity Forms, Lead Pages, and so on. We also have WooCommerce, Wishlist Member, WordPress. So there are quite a few integrations here, but as you can see, we don't have, stuff like LearnDash, but there are ways you can use LearnDash with Convertkit if you really piece it together. But here, when we come to the integrations for Fluent CRM, we notice that we have WooCommerce, Easy Digital Downloads, Lifter LMS, Affiliate WP, WP Fusion, Fluent Forms, Paid Membership Pro, LearnDash, Mail Opt-in, Wishlist Member, MemberPress, Tutor LMS. I mean, you can see here, there's quite a lot going on here. And I can also assure you that there are going to be also other integrations, like, for example, with Divi, which are in the works. So this is really, really powerful when it comes to integrations. We also have more here. It connects with Zapier and automated WP and so on. So it is really, really powerful when it comes to integrations. And for those of you that use WordPress, you may be familiar with some of these integrations. So just be assured that they are already there for you. So there isn't really a bit of a problem. So let's talk about another area which Convertkit has, which Fluent CRM doesn't, and that is landing pages. So you may be thinking, well, Convertkit has landing pages, so this is really, really good. But you know what? If you're a WordPress user, you know that the page builders that we have on WordPress are way more superior. Whether you're an Elementor user or you're a Divi user, the page builders are way more powerful and they have way more features. So that is something that, in my opinion, WordPress takes the lead there because these page builders have been out there for a very long time, and that ease of integration with Fluent CRM makes it much, much easier. Now let's move on to the next thing, and that is the cost. Now, when it comes to the cost, hands down, having your system on Fluent CRM is going to be definitely much, much cheaper. So let's take a look at the pricing here. All right, so over here on the pricing, we have a single site license for $129 per year, 5-site license, $249 per year, 50-site license, $499 per year. Now, I'd also like to say, if you buy Fluent CRM using my affiliate link, you also get a 20% discount. So the link to that is in the video description below. So here, when you take a look at the pricing, at a glance, you may be thinking, well, I'm not so sure because this is $129 per year. But let's take a look now at the pricing on Convertkit. So I'm over here on Convertkit. So if I click here on pricing, you can start off with a free account. But what I'm interested in here is this area right here. So as you start increasing your subscribers, so let's be realistic here, okay? Let's say you're on 5,000 subscribers. That's about $79 per month, okay? Fair enough. If you're starting off, it's not too bad, you know, $79 per month. But over here, this is $129 per year. And this list here you're going to build, of course, this does not control your emails. Now, this is very, very important because I don't want you to decide to choose either of these platforms without the right information. So when you use Fluent CRM, you have to use an email sending program like, for example, Amazon SES or SendGrid. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, whew, isn't that going to cost me a lot of money? Trust me, it is way, 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 way cheaper to send emails with Amazon SES. In fact, last month, I only spent $1.59. In fact, I did a video showing how much I spent using my current email list of close to 3,000 subscribers. It was $1.59 just to send my emails. And you can actually spend about $1 for 10,000 emails. So you can see how cheap that is. It's very, very cheap. So I would say when it comes to the pricing, you are better off with Fluent CRM. But there's a big but here. Setting Amazon SES is really a pain. It's not something you can just go in straight and it's straightforward. It does take a bit of time, but once you set it up and it's up and running, that's it. You know, you don't have to revisit that setup process. It just works. It's solid. So the team at Fluent CRM is working on a plugin that makes this process much, much easier because, to be honest, when I set up mine, it was a really, real pain. But once you set it up, I will show you, you are going to save a lot of money on your emails. So even over here, if you do get up to about, say, 10,000, this is going to be about $100 per month for using the actual service and sending the emails. Now over here with Fluent CRM, we already have the service here. We bought it. It's $129 per year. Now, when it comes to sending emails, you are only going to spend $1 for 10,000 emails. So, you know, $1 versus $119 per month. Come on. This is a no-brainer. So this is way cheaper, and this is the direction I would take if I were either just starting off or if I really wanted to save a bit of money on my email marketing. Now, the question is, who is this service for, right? So I would say if you're a WordPress user, that's number one, and you want to save money on your email marketing, and also you want to build your business from the ground up, definitely, hands down, Fluent CRM is the way to go. But if you already have your system set up on Convertkit and you're making a lot of money with it, that your cost of the service is way less or is insignificant to how much money you're earning, then to be honest, there's no reason why you should move back to Fluent CRM. But as you can see, when it comes to what Fluent CRM can do versus what Convertkit can do, it's pretty much neck to neck. But bear in mind, Fluent CRM has just been released and Convertkit has been out there for a very long time. So right now, in terms of the features, it does everything that I want. No problem. It sends the emails. My emails are delivered without any issues. So if you're on a budget, there's no reason why you shouldn't use Fluent CRM. So that is my take on Fluent CRM versus Convertkit. Now, you know the verdict. I would say at this point in time, Fluent CRM all the way. But let me know what you guys think, your experience with Fluent CRM and Convertkit or any other SaaS service out there for email marketing automation. Leave your comments in the video description below. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. If you like this video, don't forget to smash the thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell notification. By doing so, you're going to be notified whenever I release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.